It's our favourite time of the week to talk to our favourite person in the world, the one, the only, the wonderful Megyn Kelly. Lovely to see you, my friend.
It's great to be with you.
Now, perfect example of two Americas on show for everyone this week. You had all of the sooks at the Grammys and you had the Melania documentary with lots of people seeing it and it making more money than any documentary on opening this century.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing to me, like, to watch these rich, privileged, out of touch, elite jerks stand up there and try to lecture the rest of us on how we need to live. Each one of whom has made money beyond their wildest imaginations and lives in a gated, guarded estate and will never have to deal with the consequences of an illegal immigrant in their lives. They're not at risk of being murdered in their trailer like a young girl was. They're not at risk of being gunned down or sexually assaulted and thrown over a bridge like poor Jocelyn Ngare in Texas. They're not at risk even of being hit by a DWI illegal because they spend precious little time on the roads. And when they do land for their gigs, they get police escorts that shut down traffic for them as they jet in and out of their arenas. So it's like, just shut up, shut up. And honestly, Justin Bieber is as smart as this pen. That he would have the nerve. When they were like, Justin, you have to wear this pin, it reads ice out. I mean, truly, he probably thought it was a reference to like iced tea, maybe his wife's diamonds, but there is zero chance he knows what ice is. I would give him $1 million if he could tell me what ICE stands for. I really would. There's no chance. These stupid, overly privileged gazillionaires trying to ask us to take on all the dangers. They'll take on none, but see, they get to feel good about themselves, virtue signaling from the Grammy stage with their boob hanging out, with like literally their boobs out and their fake nipple holders holding up their ugly dress, which I now realize is just a massive distraction from the ugly face. I'm being nasty and ad hominem because this woman is an idiot and, yes, unattractive. I don't know why she did that other than she's severely deranged, like literally everyone I saw last night. Where was the hero to stand up and say, I stand for the American citizens who have been hurt and killed by the illegal aliens? That's who I stand for. Where was that hero? I mean, all you really had to do as a woman was show up in a normal dress that covered all of your private body parts for the most part, like maybe even just half covered. And then maybe sing a nice song, like a nice song that doesn't have the N-word in it or, I don't know, something disgusting and foul. Like, it would be totally subversive. You'd be the coolest kid in class.
100%. And I couldn't help but think that, we've both got kids and I really have been thinking about how weird some of these people are. Now, not in the old school good rock and roll way, but more in a struggling to get out of bed way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Like Billie Eilish? I don't know what. She looked like a piano, it's just, or maybe a domino. I don't know, like the weird, more of a piano. It was like stiff, and it was like weird angles. She never looks good. I mean, to be honest, there's never been a time where you're like, wow, Billie Eilish nailed it with her fashion. But she's incredibly depressed. That chaperone, she's the one who was wearing the nipple thing. She's been like severely depressed for many years. And now she said she's bipolar, diagnosed at 22. Billie Eilish is openly like very depressed. I mean, these people are like near suicidal from the look of it. And yet on their way down, they want to lecture us on how to live a better life. I'm good. Thanks, but I'm good. And this is why, truly, it goes back to the fact that, like, you see all these leftists out there protesting all the time and they're like ICE agitators, whatever. The right wing does not protest. It just doesn't. Like, the right wing is going home to their spouses and their kids and they're working fruitful jobs. They're going to church. They're connected with their friends and family, and they generally lead pretty good lives. They're pretty happy. They'd like to take a vacation, maybe an extra one, or one at all that they don't get. But they're not a bunch of whingers, as you would say. It's it's a leftist thing to get uglier and uglier and more unhappy, and then to think that you're in a position to lecture us on how to live.
Now, one of the things I find really infuriating about this ICE situation are the cities that tell the Immigration Enforcement Agency that they are not allowed to go into jails to get people who have been found guilty of crimes who are illegal immigrants. New York is about to do that, meaning get ready for protests there.
The whole, like, Tom Homan goes into Minneapolis and calms things down. You know, the Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security chief thing, she's out. And now the border guy, Tom Homan, who we love, is in, is such a lie. Tom Homan claimed he'd reached some sort of a deal with the Attorney General of Minnesota to allow ICE to get the bad guys in jail. So, like, forget state prison. Minnesota State Prison has been doing this. But it's the issue is the county jails and the city jails all over the state do not cooperate with ICE because they're all sanctuary cities. And so that's been the issue all along. So they came out, the administration, you know, through Homo, like, the Minnesota state prisons are going to cooperate. It's like, we know that. They've been cooperating. That's not a win. Like, please just be honest about what we're doing. Then he's like, and the Attorney General of Minnesota said that the county jails and the city jails can cooperate too. What? And I said to the team, go back and check, see whether Mayor Fry has spoken to this, see whether the sheriff of Hennepin County, where Minneapolis is, has said we're going to do it. No, to the contrary, they're both saying we're not changing a thing, which means no access to the bad guys who are in county and city jails. So they get let out and they get turned right back out onto the street, which necessitates exactly what we've been seeing on the streets of Minneapolis, a much more heavily bodied operation, because you got to block the front door, you got to block the side door, the back door. If there are children in the home, you need an extra officer or two. It's like, that's why you need a bigger police presence there. New York, yes, New York's already sanctuary. Chicago, like most of our major cities are run by leftists. And so they're sanctuary cities. And sanctuary cities claiming, this is BS, but they claim they don't want illegals to feel like they can't call the cops, like if their husbands are beating them up. Like a woman is going to, instead of get her husband off of her, she's going to get deported. That has not been how law enforcement has been using those kinds of calls. Just FYI, this is a lie. But that's how they get away with it. But all ICE has really asked for any of these cities is, when you have a terrible person locked up in county lockup, please call us in advance of the day he's getting set free. You don't even have to hold him extra. If he's getting out on, Thursday, the 20th, please call us before that day. We'll take it from there. They won't even do that. So it's really out of control. And I don't see, right now the hatred for ICE is at a fever pitch. They're not going to stop any of these policies, Paul. Like, if anything, they're going to double and triple and quadruple down on them. So the only solution, as I see it for Trump, is to quadruple down on his determination to get the illegals out. And if the press doesn't like it, too bad. They're going to have to get used to it, because this is what he ran on. He has the majority support of the American people. And it's not just for the illegals who have done extra crimes. All illegals. There was just a poll out, just hit before we got on air. There's still a majority of the populace wants all illegals out. All. So it was never going to be pretty. These leftists in sanctuary cities are making really sure of that. So they'll get their political, boost from it. But these people have to go. The illegals must go.
Now, this, of course, is an election year. In November, the midterms, and that's going to be a handbrake. It looks like the Democrats will win, probably win big, but there's a chance it could happen even sooner than that, because the Republicans are down to just a one-seat majority, and a by-election between now and November means the handbrake comes on early. What do you think the handbrake looks like when the Democrats control the House, but the president is still in charge of the country?
Well, right now, I think it's looking terrible for Republicans in the midterms. There was just a state Senate seat that came up for election in Texas, in a district President Trump won by 17 points in the presidential election, that went Democrat. So it's not great. The harbingers of things to come, not great. Having said that, Joe Biden managed to stem the bleeding and stop it from being a total bloodbath. And it's possible Trump will do that too. Although Trump scares people, he scares people, and the media make sure of it. He's got a very dishonest media. So I do I think the Democrats will easily win the House in the midterm election. And I really just hope that the Republicans can hold on to the Senate. That was considered impossible for the Dems to take over the Senate before. And now most people put it like a likely 51-49 situation. Republicans maintain control. But we'll see. I don't think if the Democrats just win the House and the Republicans hold the Senate, anything is going to change other than we're going to have investigations every week. And probably Trump will be impeached, which we don't care. Impeachment is just like an indictment, but the trial takes place in the Senate. So if the Republicans continue to control the Senate, he'll be fine. He won't actually be convicted, which is what you really worry about. But I think we'll have investigations every other week, which, okay, that's fine. I mean, that's a waste of our government's time. But it's not like President Trump was going to get a bunch of legislation through in the remaining 3 years that he won't anyway. He's gotten none through. None. He has the Laken-Riley Act, which did tighten down the illegal immigration situation somewhat. He got his tax bill through, which extended the Trump tax cuts, which was good. He passed his budget. That's it. That's it. So, like, he can't get anything through because in the Senate, even though Republicans have 53 votes right now, you need 60 to get a vote on the legislation for so-called cloture. Without cloture, you don't get a vote on the substance of your bill. So it's really, unless you have 60 votes now or 60 senators on your side, which is near impossible, you can't get legislation through. That's where we are now. So it's, not that big a difference.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about it because, again, in Australia, so much of the coverage is about the prism of Trump. The reality is that under the Trump presidency, Congress, yes, exists, but the authority is very much in the actions of Donald Trump. What he does with a pen is really more mighty than the laws that are being passed by the parliament. The truth is that regardless of what happens in the House, the president still remains all-powerful, right?
No. If they get control of the Senate too, that now it's going to get interesting on the impeachment front. But even those Democrats would have to worry about actually impeaching the sitting president. They would. I don't know that they'd get every vote. In any event, I don't think much is going to change. I mean, what my own concern is the executive branch has gotten so large and powerful, way more so than it was meant to be. We broke off from England because we didn't like having a king. And we intentionally made the executive branch the smallest and the weakest. We wanted Congress to have all the power because they're the only ones who answer directly to us every 2 years in the case of the House of Representatives, 6 in the case of U.S. senators. But the point is, those 2 years make a difference. So we can fire them all, in 2 years if we don't like the way they vote on legislation. It's difficult. And a president is, of course, 4 years. But now it's grown so important and so powerful because nothing can get through Congress because of that 60 vote thing. And it used to be that even if you were a Senate getting ready to vote no, a senator saying, I'm not going to vote for that bill, you'd still vote for cloture. You'd know, like, the only reason you wouldn't allow it to have a bill is like something really extreme. But now that's standard obstructionist tactics in the Senate. It's like the whole system of government, the way it was designed, has run into some serious roadblocks in the past 5 years, which is why Team Trump says they should get rid of the filibuster. If you got rid of the filibuster, those 60 votes wouldn't be necessary anymore. But we can't do that because then you have no minority rights ever in the Senate, and that shoe will be on the other foot one day, and I don't think that's a good idea. So it's just not working the way it should, and we shouldn't be in a country where either domestically or internationally, huge policy shifts happen every 4 years. Normally we pass a law, and then we're going to live with that law for a long time unless we can, really get it repealed, which is tough, or get it struck down by a judge. But now it's just like executive orders every 4 years, which have huge pendulum shifts. And our adversaries and our allies are feeling it, and we're feeling it internally, domestically. And so unless it's something that, like, take, for example, the trans sports thing, like, Democrats actually are on our side on that. They just can't say it out loud. So that's not going to swing back the other way because they don't want it to. They can't say it out loud. Trump did it. Now they'll live with it. So I feel like that one actually is on its way to being solved. But virtually everything else will get swung back as soon as a Democrat is in there, since nothing's law. It's all just pen and a paper.